All right, we're back. This is a new segment. This is called the H3 Gym Conversations. You know who I got with me. Mid-major, UCA, all-time leading scorer, best person to put on the jersey, Scottie Pippen. You're hiding. Jordan Howard, okay? Marquette, Marcus, previous, high major. I should say less. You can look in the rafters. Current, high major, Cy. You don't know his name, but I do. You will soon. And last but not least, you can find me on 7th Street. PC, you know what it is. Money. Duh. Everybody's different. Give me that ball, rock. For me, I didn't have all the offers in the world. I wasn't the best player, but I had the most heart. As you can see, you're in my gym. So when you guys have that position, it's not about who you are, where you're from, and how good you are. It's about what school wants you.
2 in a row. For me, it was a little different because I was also in kind of similar position as Desmond. I was getting recruited a little more in high school, but I had an unfortunate injury which kind of held me back from going to a higher school. So the biggest thing for me was just finding one school that really believed in me, which was Central Arkansas. And Coach Russ Pennell, he really believed in me. So I would say it was different for me because I didn't have a lot of schools, but I had a school that really believed in me. So that was really important.
For me, definitely had a great privilege of having a lot of options coming out of high school. To have a lot of schools recruit you was really cool, it was exciting. The process does get really tedious with a lot of coaches calling, kind of blowing your phone up. New coaches coming in, old coaches kind of not really staying with you in terms of recruiting. But for me, it was awesome. I enjoyed it. And then for me, just choosing the school, it was about who was the right fit, where I could really see myself growing as a player and a man. Then just being more than a basketball player. So I wanted to be able to have an impact on a campus, not only on the court but off the court. So those were the biggest things for me with recruiting.
For me, I got recruited late junior year. It was good to be recruited by high major schools, but it was also a stressful but relief process during my career in high school, but it was good. Just chose the right fit, chose the right school, and just wanted to fit in.
This question is for Des specifically. What is the grind at Juco like, and also what were your experiences there?
Juco's different. Got to be built for it. It's almost like you're on an island by yourself and you have nothing but your body. Basically, you're left with nothing. You have nothing. AKA, you might be nothing, and you have to go there to make yourself into something. And that's what I did. What's it like for y'all?
Biggest difference between a high major and mid major, there are a lot of differences, but I would just say for a mid major, you really have to make the most out of your opportunities there. You aren't given as many luxuries as a high major, but I would say if you go to a school that really believes in you and where you can make the most out of it, you'll be able to succeed in any level. So for me, a mid major, there's a lot more struggles that go into it when it comes to like traveling, when it comes to not having some of the luxuries as a bigger school, but also I was blessed enough to have a lot of good opportunities there as well. So I would say those are some of the main differences.
I would say there's some similarities with that. You have great opportunities at both levels, but I think at a high major, when you do succeed, a lot comes with it. I know just me personally with a lot of things I did, I was in the public a lot, having to do a lot of interviews, a lot of things with TV, so definitely a lot of things away from just basketball that you definitely have to kind of put on a face for. So it definitely just came with it. Fortunate for it. But yeah, I would say there weren't too many differences. I mean, opportunities, of course, definitely can vary, but I think for the most part, if you can play, you can play.
The way to give yourself the best opportunity possible to play at the professional level, I would say go the D1 route. Division I basketball gives you the most opportunity to display your talent on a level where other people, other markets, other GMs, agents can see you, rather than being in a small market where it's not televised, less people know about you, you get less exposure, even though your game might be unbelievable, Jordan Howard. The thing about it is everyone doesn't have the same opportunity, but you have to maximize it. So in my opinion, I would say D1.
Yeah, for me as well, I would probably say, honestly, really any level you can get to the professional level. As long as you can play, as long as you showcase your talent. Any division, basketball is basketball. And I've seen countless players, like even Derek White on the Spurs, he was a D2 player, went D1. plenty of mid-major guys that are stars in the league. Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, all these guys were mid-major guys like myself. So as long as you go to a place that believes in you and you showcase your talent, I believe any division, any spot, any situation, you'll be able to play professionally.
For me, kind of go off what both Desmond and Jordan said. Obviously, you know, being at a D1 school definitely does has its advantages of being seen more. But you've had a number of stars in the NBA like Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, you know, big name guys like that who have come from mid-major schools that have really had success at the next level. I think personally, it doesn't matter where you play. It could be Juco, it could be D2, it could be D1, it could be mid-major, it could be high major. I think if you really have an opportunity, whatever opportunity that does present itself, to be in front of agents, different type of markets like Desmond said, or even just personnel in an NBA office. I think if you have one opportunity, you make the most of the opportunity. It doesn't matter where you come from. I think every opportunity you have to make the most of it. So anytime you have the opportunity to compete, just make the most of it. And I think you can make any level.
Schedule talk.
Schedule for a mid-major school, it's like really any grind of college basketball. You wake up, usually have weights or practice, then you have to go to class. Then you'll usually have another session later in the afternoon, whether it's study hall or practice as well. For us, we had to have a certain amount of study hall hours each week, so we had to go to study hall, which kept kids actually passing and making sure you studied for the test and made sure you did your homework, which was good. But the schedule is kind of rigorous. You have to make sure you're on top of it or good with time management. But yeah.
A lot of the same for us at a high major school. I mean, like for me inside, it just depends on our team. Like different guys have different schedules just based on their class load. So it just depends on how much school you have. Like for me being a senior, him being a freshman this past year, like me, I only had maybe 1 or 2 classes. So I wouldn't necessarily be doing a lot of school. I would be in the gym a lot of the time. But a lot of guys in his situation would be in study hall if they weren't in class leading up to practice. But practice and weights would always be in the mix during the day. And then usually always at night comes time for if guys have homework or study hall, that's usually what came.
We have no schedule. Juco, I mean, you're on an island by yourself. Come to practice at 3 o'clock, study hall, 1:30. If you're not there, they assume it. Listen, bare minimum, just show up. And that's the sad part about it. You're coming from nothing to get something. And they're gonna give you nothing to earn everything. So if you don't do what you're supposed to, like going to study hall and practice 1 time a day, I mean, what do you think your life's gonna be like? And that's what they're teaching you. You don't know that in the moment, but it's literally survival. They don't give you a structured schedule. Here's practice, here's study hall. The gym will be open all day to go get shots. No structure. So I mean, those guys that can really come out of that Juco level, you know, wholeheartedly together and not torn apart emotionally, mentally, they're gonna make it in life, you know, because things weren't just handed to them. You know, they took it or they earned it. So in terms of schedule, there's no schedule. And then in terms of travel, don't get me started, short bus central. Listen, listen, all that flying somewhere and you might as well ride your bike. You're sitting on someone's lap, you made a PB&J because you got $5 in your account, no per diem. Also, you're eating noodles manoodles. You have nothing. So let's go see what they're acting like at the Ritz-Carlton.
For us, travel was a lot of busing. Like in conference, we bus pretty much everywhere. So it was a lot of long trips. But when we did non-conference, we actually got to fly a good amount, which is good because we went to the West Coast. But the in-conference struggle is real in a mid-major because you'll have to bus somewhere, you bus the next day back, and then you have to go to class. So sometimes we'll get in 2, 3 in the morning and then have to go to class at 9 a.m. So it's like, that's why being on top of your studies, being on top of everything is very important at a mid-major because sometimes you won't get the luxury of being able to fly right after the game or get home as soon as you want to. So yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Richie Rich?
Well, for us at Marquette, you know, we were definitely blessed and fortunate that we were able to fly, but we flew private. So a lot of teams necessarily would go to an airport, have to wait for their flight, and it'd be a flight, you know, with a bunch of other people on the flight. So with us, we had the luxury of, you know, being a high major school where we were able to fly private, whereas it's our team, you know, our staff, coaches, administrative staff, our academic assistants, and some close families of higher ups in the university, like the president and the athletic director. So those would be kind of the people that traveled with us along with our team. So it'd be very, very simple. We would literally just get to the airport, go to the landing strip, and we would literally get on the flight and fly to our game, and then literally right when the game was over, we fly back. So yeah, we're fortunate for sure. Definitely not that way at other places, but that's part of playing at a high major school. That's what you work for. That's one of the luxuries you have when you work hard, is to be able to have a luxury like that and to be able to have a blessing like that, to be able to fly private with your team.
Man, let's talk about gear. This boy, the cat.
Yeah, so again, this is another blessing in itself at Marquette being sponsored by Jordan. You see my man Sai got the kicks on. We definitely got a lot of stuff, like so much gear, can't even keep track of it. Over the 4 years I've had, just so many gears and shoes, clothes, bags, you name it. Marquette and Jordan definitely did a great job of making sure that we were taken care of. Stay tuned for sneaker collection. You guys will see it very soon on some crazy stuff I got while at Marquette. But yeah, we were definitely blessed to have Marquette and Jordan be able to sponsor us. So we definitely got our good share of stuff.
For sure.
Come on.
You last.
No, we got to pass to Jordan.
We'll go here.
We'll go most to least.
So Marcus at a mid-major, I feel like that's one of the biggest differences. At a high major, Marcus at a high major, crazy gear every year. At a mid-major, we're still blessed to get a good amount of gear, but not as much as you would think. So at UCA, we were Adidas, so we were blessed with shoes, gear as well. So I can't complain at all. I was blessed while I went to college to get anything. So I would say that's a big difference. At a high major, you're getting unlimited gear, sometimes very exclusive things that people don't get. At a mid-major, you're still getting gear, but it may not just be as much. But either way, it's a blessing. So now let's go to the man y'all want to hear.
Now listen, have y'all ever been to an AAU game and everyone's got on different shoes? That's where I'm at. Everyone, hey listen, when I tell you, BOS, bring your own shoes. When I tell you right now, listen, we had one tracksuit to travel with. That was literally, that was for show. You had an undershirt that was yours. Probably didn't wash it for a week and a half. Wash her down. And then, bro, when I tell you the numbers that they had for the jerseys, I wore number 50. I'm a PG, 2X, shorts were 3, roll them up twice. But what I'm telling you is you get nothing. Just like in life, they give you nothing. You better earn everything. No team shoes, no team anything. The practice jerseys, you give them back at the end of practice. The water, you would think they emptied it out of your mouth and put it back in the refrigerator. But when I tell you, they give you nothing. Next question.
This is gonna give quick Juco disclaimer. Not everyone's Juco experience will be the same. There are some Jucos that are very good, and PC is a good Juco, but there are Jucos that provide better opportunities, but
And in all honesty, there's been so many NBA players that you've never would have heard of come to the NBA, and you don't know what school they went to. Like, you can go down the list of players that you have no idea what school they go to.
No, there's some crazy guys.
There's so many great players in college that come from JUCO. So whatever path you take, you'll be able to make.
It's all about the opportunity, but just know what you're getting yourself into. If you don't want to work hard or you're less than, you're going to get less than, just like I did at a JUCO. If you want to work hard and you have something to offer and bring to the table, then you're sitting with Jordan, Nike, Adidas, and you're not oodles manoodles. So at the end of the day, you have to choose what life you want.
And I'll say this too, like a lot of people say, oh, I didn't get an opportunity. If you really work hard and you put yourself in a position and you work that hard, you'll make your own opportunity. I don't like hearing when people say, coach did me dirty, or, I'm not playing this, the coach isn't giving me minutes. Honestly, you have to be so good and you have to work so hard to where you're an undeniable, the coach can't ignore you, or the opportunity, you present it for yourself. 100%. So honestly, that's my opinion on that. I think a lot of people that end up in the positions they're in is either because they didn't put in the work or they didn't make the necessary sacrifices they needed to make to put themselves in a great position.
Great disclaimer.
Amen.
Great disclaimer.
Amen.
Next
Amen.
question.
Next question. I got a question for Sai. in life, you know, we've all been a freshman. You just went through an unbelievable year as a freshman, added so much value. What can you help all these other freshmen, whether Marcus is a freshman going into his professional career, you were a freshman going into your college career. I have 8th graders going to be freshmen in their high school. What can you give them? Give them some game.
For me, or just to anybody, you just have to work. You just can't have that mindset of, oh, I know everything or I did everything. You have to just continue to just work. So my thing was to get with people that love to work every day and would push me every day. So that's why I'm here with these guys right here. They push me every day, and I'm excited and just blessed to be with them.
Another thing to add from that, being around Sai, you know, seeing him as a freshman, and this is for a lot of kids going into, like Desmond said, their freshman stages in whatever life or whatever position they're in life. You know, in order to succeed in anything, especially when you're a freshman and you're young, you have to be willing to accept coaching. You have to be willing to learn and take coaching. And to Sai's credit, he did an unbelievable job of not only listening to coaches, but listening to players that were older than him. I mean, me and him would be in the gym. I can't tell you how much, how often, how early, how late. He would be the guy that was always with me in the gym. And he was always willing to listen and learn to what I had to tell him, not just myself, but so many other people. So you guys that are freshmen or younger, kind of trying to make your way and trying to come up and make a name for yourself, always be willing to take coaching. Always be willing to learn, always be willing to accept things, especially if it's coming from maybe a constructive criticism type of way.
Very good.
Amen. Amen. Ditto.
All right, now that we've answered all these questions, we're going to make a final decision on what we believe is the best division or place to play. Mid-major, high major, or Juco.
Yes, D1, but just go wherever your heart is. Simple.
Great answer.
No, I agree. Of course, I think me just personally, the experience I had at a high major, I think anybody can do it. You know, a person like me, my size, where I come from, to make it at a place like Marquette and do it big, anybody can do it. So, I mean, I would say shoot for the stars. Don't sell yourself short. Work hard and you can achieve a lot of great things at whatever level you strive to be at. But for me, I think visibility, opportunity, and then just from a competitive standpoint, I think you'll get the most out of being at a high major. So for me, I say high major.
For me, I just think wherever you fit in, wherever is their best fit. Of course, work hard to get to the highest level, which is a high major, which will give you the most opportunities. But for me, I landed at a mid-major, what worked out great for me. Broke a lot of records, did a lot of great things there. Had an opportunity to actually transfer to high major schools, but I just felt that where I was at was a good fit and it was a good opportunity for myself. So I just think wherever you're at, strive to be the best at whatever role you're in.
God has a plan for your life regardless. Whatever you do, do it with the spirit of excellence and great things will happen. The division doesn't matter. League me. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
Make sure y'all like,
Man, you know to subscribe.